Hey guys, welcome to PitchIT Live. We are streaming live on various social platforms such as LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, ConnectWise, Tips and Tricks, and ConnectWise Boss Facebook community. We help technology business leaders leverage ConnectWise products to get the most out of their systems with proven best practices quickly and efficiently. My name is Adam Belansky. I am founder and CEO of Sierra Pacific Group and the creator of the ConnectWise Boss Facebook community. We've done several thousand implementations, optimizations, and custom projects, and we have the answers. We've done the hard work, so you don't have to learn the hard way like I did. And we're here for one reason. It's PitchIT, and I'm going to bring on my co-host, significant other, as he likes to be called, Sean Lardo.
Yes, I dressed for the occasion on my picture that you can see because my video doesn't work. But thank you for this significant other. It makes me feel so special.
Right?
And welcome. But before I talk about me and PitchIT, can we really just address the elephant in the room? Like, congratulations, you're having a child. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it is pretty big deal. I even traveled last night, drove home, and I got home at like 1:30 in the morning. Got about 6 hours sleep. Just practicing, doing a lot of traveling events. And you're actually at ChannelCon too, is right?
I am in Chicago at ChannelCon, yes, and obviously having technical difficulties. But again, congratulations
Thank you.
on this. Like seriously, I mean, as you know, I'm a sucker for kids. I mean, like I have four daughters and two granddaughters, and so that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. We're super thrilled. We don't know the gender yet. I think we find out here tomorrow or the next day, something like that, sometime this week. So we're thrilled. But we got my new office going here. So we actually have a baby room that's all completely like ready to be remodeled, if you will, or painted, new textures and all that stuff, depending on if it's a boy or a girl. But yeah, we don't know yet. So
Yeah, no, I'm looking. I can't wait to meet baby Sean. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah.
Oh boy.
Moving on. Yes, we're here to talk about other things though.
We are. The baby's name will not be Sean. just want to put it out there. But moving on, appreciate it, Sean. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of emotions, and it's been really, I really thank everybody out there on social media platforms that really congratulated us, and just really appreciate that. We're overwhelmed with excitement and just gratefulness.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So, but we have to move on to what we're here to talk about, I guess. Now we can't just have kid talk all day.
Yeah, we are. So what are we here to talk about, Sean?
We're here to talk about PitchIT. And for those that don't know what PitchIT is by now, PitchIT is a Shark Tank concept that ConnectWise came up with about 5 years ago. So we're on our 5th year of doing this, where we are looking for innovators and emerging vendors to take part in our ecosystem, our community, and be a bigger player in it. These vendors come to us as startups, and like I said, emerging, but they're entering a competition with us that they go through a 16-week accelerator program. And actually, that 16-week accelerator program is ending in the next few weeks. We will be having preliminaries coming up at the end of the month to decide on this. But right now, we have 18 teams, 18 vendors in. Come the end of this month, we're going to do the preliminaries to determine who the 3 finalists will be. The 3 finalists will then be working with some designated coaches, and they will help them prep them, get them ready for IT Nation Connect in November, where they will pitch live on the big stage, and they will see who the winner is. We will be going first, second, and third. First place is $70,000. Second is $30,000. Third, well, they got a very good 16-week accelerator program, lots of attention, publicity, promotion, training, filling the gaps of things they need to do. Plus, they got a free booth at IT Nation Connect and got to really, find some awareness. So it's a great program all the way around.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I think it really kind of sticks to the really 3 initiatives Jason McGee kind of was talking about. You want to walk us through those? I'm just thrilled. Like everybody we've interviewed, everybody we've gone through is just these 3 fundamentals are really key to the PitchIT program and why it exists.
Agreed. So, the promises came out last year, and these are core values ultimately, right? It's easier to do, making it easier for partners to do business with us. Even more invested in our partner growth, and then more innovation and faster. So yeah, Pitch it does emulate a lot of this because, again, easier to do business with. There's plenty of vendors out there that are complementary to the ConnectWise economy, the ConnectWise ecosystem. And partners, when we talk about stack alignment, they're always looking for the right vendors to work with. And so, again, the easier way of doing business is PitchIT itself is we're vetting out we're vetting out vendors that are going to make sense, that are focused on these exact three promises. And we invested a great deal into this to find the right people, to find the right strategic partnerships. And again, the innovation itself, again, emerging vendors, it says it right there. They are innovators. They are constantly creating, adding on, and making it better for their solution, for the partners.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Sean, I really love talking with you and hanging out. We'll do this a lot, but we actually have somebody on, Chris from Chatstyle. Welcome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And congratulations, Adam. Wow. That's
Thank you.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. I really thank you guys for the opportunity to talk to you today. It's been an exciting time in the program so far, and really learned a lot. And it's been great to be part of this ongoing process with all these other great companies. So,
absolutely, it's been great having you in too. So let's talk about you a little bit here. Where you tuning in from today? Where are you located?
Okay. So I am in Charlotte, North Carolina. Me and my family have been here for about 20 years now. I'm big on kids too. I've got 4 kids of my own. So most of them are older now, but yeah, love Charlotte, love the area. My background is software development, so I've been doing software development professionally for a really long time, longer than I care to calculate. But for fun, since I was about 12 years old, just hacking away at making things, making software. It's always been something I really enjoyed, and something that I'm glad I was born into a time that it exists. So, yeah, that's my background, software development. Hanging out with my family, and yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Hey, Chris, can you check your mic because it's kind of a little low? I want to make sure that we can hear you well.
Okay. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, and I'll try to do a better job of talking. So. And that's kind of how I got into all of this. I've been doing software development as an independent consultant for the past 15 years, and that's just wound up with me working with a lot of different small and medium businesses, solving their problems, and that led me to cross paths with a lot of MSPs. So I'm not an MSP. Haven't ever been, but I've worked with a number of them over years, and have a lot of good friends who are MSPs, and that's how I kind of wound up here.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and so what is it that made you create the product?
Well, so like I said, I was doing kind of custom software development for MSPs for a long time. So it's inevitable that as they're working closely with their customers, some of them are going to have some special needs that they need to solve. And that's when they would bring somebody like me in, somebody who could come in, help solve the problem, do a little custom software development, and then go back to whatever it was I was doing. So in about 2 or 3 years ago, I was having a couple of different conversations with the MSPs that I, worked with, close friends, and the same topic kept coming up, that their customers wanted to chat with them, that they wanted to use some form of messaging to talk to them, and basically they didn't want to do it. They thought it was a bad idea, and I could understand why. It has a lot of problems, and so the more I talked to them about it, the more I understood understood exactly what the issues were with using that as a way to talk to their customers, and started thinking about how we could work around those and solve this problem that really not just MSPs but all businesses have about chat and using it to do your job, to communicate with customers, but also to just do your job. And so that's kind of how I wound up building this.
Yeah. So let me understand. So Chatstyle is the company and the software tool. It's chatting with customers, chatting with your prospects. It's chatting with uh, internal teams or what?
All of the above, yes. And so it's really, we're trying to solve a problem, and that's the problem that came up in the conversations with these MSPs is the problem is that chat exists outside of any system of record typically. And that problem manifests itself in a variety of ways, but that's the problem we're trying to solve is taking chat and making it so that it is part of the system of record without a lot of work, without a lot of hassle. Because basically, if you have two systems of record, you don't have a system of record. And for MSPs, that system is ConnectWise. Typically managed. We're talking about supporting using the system that they're already using and invested in, and we want to just take chat and make it work well with ConnectWise, and so that's what we do for both customer-facing chat and internal chat.
Gotcha. So I can have Teams open or Slack channel or even on our website chat, and then there's a web portal inside this Chatstyle platform, or is it all to create a ticket and manage automatically? Can you walk me through a little bit of that?
Absolutely. So one of the things that came up from the early conversations is when I was talking to my different friends who were MSPs, they didn't all have the same chat problem. And that's one of the issues when you're talking about chat is it doesn't mean one thing. It means different things to different people, often around business verticals or demographics. When I say chat, I might be talking about going to a website and getting a pop-up widget. When my kids talk about it, they might be texting or they might be doing a Twitter DM. It could be a variety of things. And for business-to-business type communications, you might be talking about Teams or Slack. So one of the things we decided early on was that we needed to build something that was omni-channel. So that the actual communication is separate from the method that we're going to work with manage. And so yeah, if you have a customer who's using Slack, then we can attach a application to their Slack channel, and then they can use that to communicate with the backend application, and they can use that to open a ticket, to check on tickets. They can use it to communicate with you directly, even if you're not using Slack. And that's one of the cooler things about it is it can sit as a bridge in between the way they want to talk to you and the way you want to function to do your daily business. So to answer your question about the portal, yes, you can go into portal and you can kind of see the communications. But one of the more interesting things we do is if you're using Teams internally, then we can actually bridge directly from Teams to whatever it is the channel that they're using. So somebody can send you a text and you can respond from Teams, and everything gets all tied together inside of Manage.
Yeah. So if I'm chatting, does it enable automation or workflow? So I can maybe click on a button and maybe it does a certain task and performs a certain task on a certain computer, or auto responds with a certain script message, or I'm just throwing ideas out there, or change the status of a ticket, or
Wow.
even maybe can a technician put in time? I'm just curious because there's a couple different chat apps out there, that's integrated, and I'm just curious of what's kind of your niche in this.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, you can do what we like to. Well, I think it's called chat ops. Basically, I mean it's been around for forever. MSPs practically invented it. They and software developers. So chat ops is nothing new for MSPs, but doing it inside of Teams has been hard. It was a little more common when Slack was the more popular internal communication tool, but more and more conversations I have, it's hard to not convince MSPs to move to Teams, given that they're getting it for free anyway. Everybody's using it, so yeah, there's a movement to need to be able to do these type of chat ops functions inside the Teams. So yeah, you can update statuses, you can change, add notes, uh, add time, all these things. And the nice thing about the chat apps side of this is that you can actually write your own script commands. So one of the things we find is that it doesn't matter how much we try to get it right. Every MSP's got their own secret sauce, their recipe, a couple of things they do a little differently. So we know we need to be flexible in that. We need to be able to support a different kind of command. If they want to some sort of red alert type command that automatically texts somebody and ups the severity and priority, we can do that.
Oh, for sure. Cool. So I'm just like, I'm thinking of all the different technologies we've interviewed. I think last week was the help desk buttons and kind of press the button. I'm like, man, how can you press that button and also chat at the same time so you can actually get kind of quick response? And those, I'm wondering if those applications could possibly be integrated. And it's like dawning on me and all these different really cool innovations out here. Sean?
So yeah, no. So okay, make sure I understand completely here. What you're doing is for lack of a better term, you're aggregating communication, right? Because if the people were the primary sources, so the MSP, whether a tech salesperson, whoever may be, if they're chatting with people, they can do it within one platform. And on the other side, whether I'm texting you, if you're the end user, whether it's text, Teams, Slack, whatever, it's all going to whatever media you're using to contact me, and I'm keeping it within one platform. Again, basically aggregated or curated, whatever you want to call it. And it's also then reporting to manage, so I have documentation of it as well.
Yeah, that's the idea, is that we want to make sure that every communication we can capture with a contact that's in manage gets into manage, whether it's as a ticket or a note. And we want to make sure that every discussion that techs have inside of an internal channel like Teams also finds its way back into manage, because that's where it needs to be. You can't properly report off of, troubleshoot, bill out of Teams. You need that stuff to be in your system of record, and that's the idea, is to be able to do that. And it's been really cool to build some of these things. We have a command that will basically take a thread inside of a channel in Teams and just attach it to a ticket. So as that thread gets updated with communications, documents, whatever happens to that thread, in the end, without asking your text to make sure everything gets back into manage, that it's all going to get rolled up, added to the ticket or added to the contact, and be where it belongs.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So again, communication is crucial, right? And we know it, and we also know that there's an expectation of how to communicate, how partners want to communicate with vendors, right? It's not like back in the day when it was just like an email, right? You submit a ticket, do an email, maybe you get a phone call at some point, whatever, right? And depending on the relationship and what's going on as well between the position of the person, like again, back to sales or tech or whatever, and the partner, there's an expectation here of being able to communicate through, whether it be in like Discord or whether it be on Slack. So this kind of appeals to that. Now, my question though is, let's use Discord as an example, or let's use any kind of forum. Can this be applied to a forum conversation as well?
Yeah, I mean, on the one side where we're doing chat app type things, we've been applying it to something like Discord, and Discord's on our roadmap. But yeah, so you can tie it to that. We try to, for the consumer-facing side, just tie directly to more more consumer facing type things, SMS. We have a widget you can embed on your website. We have support for social media direct messages, so you can tie it to your Facebook page, your Twitter page, and also for the businesses that want to kind of have Teams or Slack communication. Maybe you don't use one of those two, then we can tie it to their tenant in Teams, which solves some of the problems of not just multi-tenant communication with Teams, but just having that one. The problem with chat as a form of communication for a lot of these things is that it doesn't scale. You can't have be one text job to listen to all these channels all day. You can't have put one person on each different channel. This way, we funnel it down, we get it to manage, and we give you the opportunity to respond from one place.
Which I think that's awesome. Have you done a breakdown on like what that does for the business and savings, like as far as time and revenue?
Yeah, well, what we find is, for a lot of these things, it's just about saving time from, it's like a death of 1,000 paper cuts type situation. So every little bit you can remove from a text tedium of the jobs, every extra click, every waiting for a page load. We figured out that basically you're saving, 1 to 2 hours a month per tech just on these, chat ops type operations, and also saving a lot of time and money on the turnaround. Like there's a fear on one level in MSPs that, I'm opening up this door to getting feedback from customers that I'm not ready to handle. But what we find is that the inverse is true in a lot of ways, is that a lot of times it's closing the loop on the back end. So, that customer that you're having a hard time chasing down to close a ticket, being able to respond to them via a messaging channel is much more tight of a loop than email or a phone call. I think the numbers that we're seeing is the average response time on an email is 90 minutes, and the average response on a text is 90 seconds. And so, being able to close out tickets faster, to get feedback, to not lose contact with that customer who sent you a message and they went into a meeting and you're not going to hear from them in 3 hours. It's tangible.
Right. Now that makes so. Okay. So are you, as of today, has this only been applied to the tech team for usage?
Well, no. Some people are using it for internal, and some people are using it for external communications. And we have some people who aren't technically MSPs who are using it for customer-facing communication as well. And it really varies from customer to customer about how much of an automated solution they're looking for versus a actual form of communication with the text. So in some cases, they are just looking for kind of an automated response, chatbot type level. Can I check on the status of my ticket? And that's something that can be done. But what we find is more and more MSPs want to be able to, step into the process and actually have a human being responding at the right point in the flow, because that human touch is important, and just being able to do it cross-channel like this is valuable.
Right. And now, what about even using this as a sales tool?
Yes. So that's the thing, is you're not just opening up chat for your existing customers. If you're doing something like a website or social media, you're opening it up for your potential customers. So the nice thing about that is, one lead converted via this method, that pays for itself easily. Just being able to, there are a lot of people who come to your website and see that phone number and just don't call, but if instead they get a little pop-up like, hey, how can I help you today? It's not going to get everybody, but some people prefer that method of communication, and that's what a lot of this is about, is being open to finding your customers where they want to be. There's no one solution that you're forcing upon them. A lot of MSPs have, gone down the path of building a portal, which, serves a different purpose, or an app, to let people create tickets and things like that. And the truth is, people don't really want to use your app. I mean,
Right.
most apps fail. They already have the app that they want to use to talk to you on their phone, and it's called whatever messaging method they prefer. And that, for some people, that might be texting, and for some people, that might be Twitter. But they already have it, and so you have to go there.
Right. No, that's smart. I agree. I think again, back to the expectations. The expectations are always the same with them, where they want the easiest way to communicate with the velocity on their own in their own media.
Yeah.
That's, and again, I think also the end users and partners being end users also in this case too, have been trained to submit tickets in a certain way, to find support in a certain way. I mean, if you look back in the day there when we didn't have all this, you would have to call in for support or call in to talk, even not even just support, just call in to buy something, and you had to listen to all the prompts, right? And after, and that migrated over to a way of now I can go online and do it. And we start as organizations, we start discouraging them calling and prompt because it wasn't scalable. It required people to be there to man phones all the time. And sometimes it's a simple question. I lost my password, and so I can see this being a benefit to this, especially if you have a person that's trying to, I can see you covering it's a one-to-many concept.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I love what you're saying there about, how this has changed over time. At
Yeah.
one point, somebody would have never considered opening up an email for a ticket. Somebody would have never considered, answering, putting a form on their website or whatever. It's a changing thing. Part of it's demographic, really. Like texting and chat skews younger. Like I like chat less than your average person, honestly. I'm still calling people, but there are 2.5 billion monthly users of messaging apps in the world, and I think it's 13% of the time that people spend on mobile devices is spent inside of messaging applications, which is more than any other activity that they do. And so that's how they want to be able to reach people, and just the ability to say yes, we can do that. We can communicate with you that way. Is a differentiation. It makes you stand apart from the competition, and yeah, it's just giving them another way to communicate with you, but it has to be something like this, something that you can control, something that you can manage, and that can tie into the systems you already have. And so that's one of the things that I think is really interesting. Is I think this begins with MSPs, but it doesn't end there, because if you think about it, if you're an MSP, like you probably have at least one or two customers who are, office based and are working in teams. They've adopted teams, and they have some sort of system of record too that they're using, and it's going to vary by industry. If their lawyers are going to have one system, if their dentists are going to have another system, but they've got something, and they're working in teams, and teams and applications like this can become this super admin universal console if you just add a few commands to it. It doesn't matter what business it is. So I am imagining a future that I don't think is that far away, really, where MSPs um, can package this sort of managed chat as an added value service to their customers.
That's a good point. I was curious about that too, because right now, you figure when you're a vendor working in the partner space, you're either selling to or selling through or doing both, right?
Yeah.
And so right now you're selling to the partners right now, this ability so they can up their operations, and you're looking at the future of being able to give them the ability to do it within their own to package it with their service offering to their customers.
Yeah, and I think it's a real value add there because it's harder and harder for MSPs to avoid becoming this commodity. That they just become, it's hard to not be pushed into this area where you're just reselling Office 365, but you can actually do something different, for your customers. And so, for that MSP to understand a particular vertical, that they've really, spent some time and effort to get a grasp on, to be able to say, yeah, we can supercharge your Teams installation so that it's working with these other systems and really add value to what they're offering to their customers. We're already doing it. In one case, we have a customer who is sort of a hybrid NSP, and they also run the technology for a school of orthodontics, and so we don't just talk to manage, we talk to other backend systems too. So we talk to Microsoft Dynamics. Same principles. You got contacts, you got activities, things like that. So any kind of CRM, we can kind of wrap around that. So if you've got customers that are using Dynamics, we can come and support that as well.
That is good. I was going to ask that question. What about Salesforce also?
Salesforce is on the roadmap. I got bugged about that this morning. So if we're going to get there, I am still very close to the technology in this. So, if there's a bug that comes through, I'm probably going to take a look at it, and a feature request, same. So Salesforce is on the roadmap. We do support some other PSAs, but ConnectWise is the topic of the day.
Yes.
But Dynamics, for non-MSPs, and we support calling generic APIs. We support we have a very flexible scripting environment on the back end. So if you want to build something with us, we can customize and add a few extra ChatOps commands to the system to interface with that legacy system that we've never even heard of before. So that's the kind of thing you need to be able to do if you really want to support MSPs in this manner.
Yep. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about supporting MSPs. What's it look like? And I'm sorry, Adam, did you have a question? Sorry, no,
I was before we jump into that, I was just actually checking out your website and while you were talking, and it looks like, is there a demo or videos on your website and pricing and so forth?
Yeah, there is pricing, and I think we have some links to some videos. I'll have to find them, make sure they're up to date. But we just kind of charge a monthly flat fee at the moment. We're not doing a per user thing, but we're basing it on per channel. If you wanted to communicate over a variety of methods, then that's a little more. But we're trying to keep it flat so it's a predictable cost for MSPs to add to their offering.
Cool, excellent. Sean, sorry, I just
wanted.
I
definitely want to hear that too, because
I'm reviewing the website while you guys are talking. I'm like, oh, looks nice. Just curious if there's a video on there, kind of outlines what you got. So,
yeah, no, I wanted to know what it looks like to work with a partner. What's it look like to start with? What's the engagement? What's the onboarding?
Right. So there's an initial onboarding period, a trial, 14-day trial, and an initial onboarding period where we kind of work pretty closely with them, because typically there's a few needs to change, a little bit of dialogue, tweak the voice of it here and there. We plan on making those tools completely configurable in a later version, but right now we basically spend the first 2 weeks working with the MSP to make sure that it sounds right for them, and that if there is some customization that we can manage to do during the onboarding period, we'll go ahead and do that. Add a command, like I said, tweak the dialogue, and then for people who have a more extensive plan in mind that they want to have a whole list of questions they want to ask during the sales process, that sort of thing, then we can extend that and work with them more closely, and just charge separately for some custom software development at that point.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's not terribly much that they're going to do. Doesn't sound like it's not overwhelming, because again, when partners are looking at vendors, they got to really take into account the time, the responsibilities, the workload, right? How they can do it.
Yeah.
So once they get launched, they don't really need you for much other than probably tier 1 support, it sounds like.
Yes, yeah, that's the idea. I mean, and the actual, I say the onboarding process in 2 weeks, actually hooking it up to managing teams, it takes about 20 minutes, something like that. We just have to go in, get your API keys, log in with an admin account, and you're ready. You're live at that point.
So do you have like templates and like workflows that are kind of already in there? There's like a catalog you can pick from and kind of you coached through those or consult with those, or is it just hands off and you kind of just let them figure it out?
Yeah, no, what we have typically done is during that onboarding touch, we help them pick a playbook, is what we've been calling it. And that might differ depending on, what kind of goal they have. And if they're internal only, that's one playbook. If they want to tie into customer channels, that's another. And there are some playbooks that have come about that we didn't really even anticipate. But like we have a customer that that decided they didn't actually want a Teams integration at all. That they wanted to use the same underlying engine to synchronize ConnectWise tickets with Jira. So they have an offshore development team that needs to get some of that information into Jira. And so with a couple of tweaks, we are real time synchronizing these tickets, notes, documents between Jira and their managed instance, and it's been going really well. So that's another one of the playbooks. And what we intend to do is each customer we tackle a different scenario for, one that's a little different, a little out there. We'll just add that to the playbook list, and then the next one that comes through, has a little bit easier time picking.
Nice.
Awesome. So pricing for this, how do we break that down?
Right now it's $100 a month per channel. So if you have SMS, Teams, and Twitter, $300 a month. We're not counting the internal Teams communication. That's part of the built-in. So if you wanted to put a widget on your website and talk to people from Teams, that's $100 a month. And we don't care how many messages that is or how many users.
So is that you said per channel? Is that per user per channel, per organization per channel?
Per organization per channel.
Okay.
So basically, if it's a way that things can come into the system, then that's one channel. So if you've got it embedded on your website, but you also want to attach to a customer's Slack it, then that'd be two channels.
So, okay. And is it a permission-based type thing here then? Because I'm assuming somebody buys this, and they're, again, if you're doing just your tech guys right now, because you're doing a soft rollout to get used to using it, I can just assign this to them individually, or how does that work?
It works. Basically, each of the channels has a role. So the privileges that are assigned to that channel dictate what can be done there. So as far as texts go, when we set this up, you're saying, okay, well, this is my Team's internal tenant, and this is the channel where the texts are going to be working. And so everything that happens there is different than what comes in from SMS or something like that. So it's based on the channels that we know who's talking and how we should be talking to them.
Very cool. Okay. Sean, we are at about the 40-minute mark, so me and time.
I know.
It's been a fantastic conversation. So, Chris, any closing thoughts, about your platform? Maybe something that's going to be released soon, or is there a special?
You set me up for that one. I didn't even know that was coming.
What are you looking to get out of PitchIT? Let's say you win the big prize. What is it? Just additional development in this software application? Like what's kind of the big goal?
Yeah, well, the big goal is really to just build the best platform we can for this sort of collaboration, and being part of the program has really been two goals for us. One, to get the word out, which again, thank you for this time. I really appreciate that. And two, to learn from the people who have come, to be, to talk to the cohort, the sessions, to learn from ConnectWise, and to learn from the other companies. Like it's been so valuable to get to know some of the other people in the cohort, and it's weird. I'm quiet on the calls compared to some of the personalities on there. But I don't, on one very real level, we're competing, but on another level, we're really collaborating. I feel like there's so much opportunity for, like you said, with the help desk buttons and things like that. There's so much opportunity to connect and collaborate and build, strong relationships with. These are our peers, and we should be working together. There's a lot to go around. So,
Nice.
but we are planning even deeper integrations into Manage. The next release, which should be out next month, should actually add a tab into the Manage UI so that you can do this chatting without even leaving Manage. So that's the ultimate goal.
Cool. And so, fun fact. I don't think we went over that. So, fun fact about yourself.
Oh yeah, I guess I put it on the slide that I used to work. I worked for NASA on an island. It sounds weird that when the first time I told somebody that at a job interview, they thought it sounded like I had been part of the subplot of a Bond movie or something like that. Where I grew up is very rural, and there are pretty much two career paths. You're either working in agriculture or NASA. So it's the Wallops Island Flight Facility on the eastern shore of Virginia. And when I was 18 and in college, I started an internship there and worked there for a couple of years, couple of summers. It was a lot of fun. I still have some good friends who work there at NASA, and I'm glad I made the jump into commercial software, but it was definitely a great place to get my start. So.
Nice. On an island, working for NASA.
A lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not even going to dig into that because that could go all sorts of different directions. All the UFOs out there.
Yeah, can you tell us about that, please? I'm curious. Let's talk about Roswell while we're here.
Sean, closing thoughts, man.
I believe in the acquisition cost to get clients is already expensive enough to have to worry about the retention and the customer experience. And so one of the biggest gaps I've seen in customer experience is that communication piece and also the administration overload. And it seems like you've covered both of those. And as I went through the years of, like we all have, we've seen the evolution of how communication occurs. And, I love the concept of having the ability to talk to people on different platforms from one. It's why I always liked marketing, like social media platforms like Hootsuite and stuff, where you can create a post and put it out, because sometimes you don't have time to do all. And realistically speaking, you still have a job that's part of this job and part of the other job. So I really like that it's an efficient way for communication and looking for that customer experience and success. So, I mean, there's a ton of value there. Plus, to add on the fact that it's documenting what you're doing within Manage, again, back to the admin task. And, that in itself is worth it for most people, because you can teach your users, that being the tech team, a process in which they only have to go to them themselves have to go to one portal or one platform or one place to work out of. And that's what's key. So I really like that. I can go all through the sales side if you like, but we won't right now. I see so much opportunity in that. So I totally get it. I like it. I get what it does, and it's pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Chris. It's been really fantastic. Be sure and check out chatstyle.io or AI.
AI.
I forget. No, AI. There, I put it back on down there. So it's been really, really awesome getting to learn about your product and so forth. I am about, again, get on my soapbox, all about the client experience, right? And this is something that gives a step above cutting edge technology that integrates in well with ConnectWise Manage and all the different chatting tools that you use in your business and MSP business. So it's really fantastic. Definitely check out the website, Chris. It's been a real big pleasure. And if anybody needs any help integrating various different tools into ConnectWise Manage and so forth, be sure and reach out to us on social media, social platforms, and work with Sierra Pacific Group. And we've got a great team behind me, and we've done this. We've built businesses built on the foundation of like scalability, right? So we can definitely help you guys out. So with that, appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. And see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 Eastern. So see you on Thursday. Bye, everybody.